David Moore, Dallas Morning News. When you review the defensive performance from this past game and look at it from the perspective of mental mistakes versus flaws and fundamentals on tackling, where did it break down more in those areas?
So, first of all, I thought we've been making progress the last 2 weeks. You know, we've been playing pretty good. I anticipate us playing better than we did this last ball game. I probably panicked on some calls early because they hit us with some things early, and so, you know, I changed up a little bit, probably a little too soon. But as far as some of the flaws, you know, it's when we've been bad, it's like it just steamrolls. You know, it goes bad, 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 bad. You know, so guys, you know, sometimes they try to, you know, I'm going to go make a play, so I'm going to go do this, or I'm going to go do that, and then it gets out of whack fast. So, you know, we've been watching the cut-ups from the first 6 ball games, and you know, a lot of it comes down to eye discipline. You know, guys running to get somewhere, you know, trying to get somewhere fast where they don't need to be. You know, and then the other part is, you know, for the most part, we're playing blocks, but we're not getting off of blocks well enough, and then we're not converting on the play action passes fast enough in the pass rush. So those are all things that we're going to get working on harder and harder. You know, these guys have been working really hard, and we've been pushing them really hard. So, you know, like I said, after the first 2 games, you know, I felt like they were having some confidence and success in what they're doing. But, you know, it's got to show up every week.
Mike Todd, with ESPN, when you look at Trayvon Diggs, how do you get him to tackle better?
Well, it's hard to do it in practice, but, you know, it's not just Trayvon. We all got to tackle better. You know, we had, I want to say, 12 missed tackles or something like that in the ball game. You know, but we've all got to, and at the end of the day, I was just telling the coaches, we you know, one guy can't make the tackle all the time. We got to get more hats on the ball.
John Machado with The Athletic. How much do you look at what you have coming with whether it be Deron Bland, Mike, some of these guys that can help get this, I guess, fixed?
Yeah, but I mean, we need to, you know, play with the guys that are there. We got to get them going, and you know, there's no guarantee that somebody else isn't going to get hurt the next week, or you know, that we have to play with a new middle linebacker or something like that. You know, those are things that are going to happen throughout the course of the year. But you know, when we do get them back, it'll be very helpful, obviously.
Mike, Saudis, The Athletic. You brought up the middle linebacker. Just how much do you miss Kendricks when he's not in there, and what all do you miss from him aside from the communication to play all?
Well, there's a couple times we got lined up a little late. You know, the communication with the front, but you know, he's instinctive. We're inside there, so he can fly around and make tackles, and he kind of sees things. You know, he understands the plays and formations and things like that. So yeah, I mean, we missed him.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. How do you get more hats to the ball carrier?
Well, the first thing is we got to get off the blocks. You know, play the block to where, and then win to your. You know, I was talking to him yesterday. If you've got a half-man advantage in your alignment, you know, you got to win that way. You know, you can't just be a half-man and be locked on. You got to get off the block and get to the ball. You know, you're a half-man advantage for a reason. You know, the hard part is when the ball's going the other way. But you know, if we got a half-man advantage to that side, then we can't get blocked to our advantage side. I guess easiest way to say it.
Hey Mike, Joe Hoyt, All City Dallas. You guys have 5 turnovers forced through so far this season. Is there a schematic remedy to that, or is it simply it's just guys got to be in position to make plays?
Well, we had 3 opportunities in Pittsburgh and didn't get any, or 4 maybe. And you know, this week we weren't really close enough to get many. So I always believe they'll come. You do the right things. You get hats on the ball. A lot of that comes from pressure. We haven't been getting a lot of pressure other than, on third downs when we've been blitzing, we've been getting some. But, a lot of that comes from when you hit the quarterback, good things happen.
Garrett Podell, CBS Sports. My team's bottom 5 in the league in missed tackles. Is that something, like with the way practice is in the NFL today, that you can fix during the season?
That's a good question. No, we're going to work on it more.
Aaron Cousins, Lone Star Live. Mike McCarthy was saying yesterday that you got a lot of young guys and a lot of players who came in new, and that maybe is why you're playing a little slow. Is there a point in the season when you need to see like all those issues ironed out for the young guys to keep getting playing time?
I'm not exactly sure what you mean.
So essentially,
A lot of young guys are playing, right? And what's the next part?
so is there a point in the season when you no longer can say they're young or they're new and you have to make personnel or scheme changes?
Well, I think it depends on the player a little bit, right? If the player continues to make the same mistakes over and over, then it's time. But these young guys, they come in there, and a couple of guys have been here a week. That played in the game the other day, so it's probably too early for that.
Skyler Dixon with the AP. Coaches love consistency. When you've been this wildly inconsistent, kind of in stretches, couple of games. How do you try to address that? Can you really address that?
Yeah, we've addressed it. A lot of it is, sometimes it's the teams you're playing, obviously, and then sometimes it's the things that you're doing that lead to the inconsistency. It's, eye discipline. It's not winning to half a man to your side. It's, taking on a block and not getting off the block. I mean, there's a lot of different things that lead to that. So, like I said, I thought we were making progress. Obviously, we took about 8 steps back the other day, and we'll just have to keep grinding.
Mike, Tom,
Yeah, I'll give them this though. These guys are working hard. They've been busting their rear ends. When we have extra walkthroughs, we've been doing a lot of stuff, extra film study, extra drill work. We're doing a lot of those things, and it didn't show up the other day, but it showed up against Pittsburgh. It showed up against New York. So we'll just keep grinding away.
Tommy Yarns, DallasCowboys.com. With some struggles maybe stopping the run in some of these games, how do you kind of use this bye week to attribute and fix some of those issues?
Yeah, and that leads to not being able to stop the run leads to a lot of other issues. So for me, it's always been a deal is hey, we got to get the run stopped, and then then we get them in a throwing situation. But we haven't done a good enough job of that. Now against the Giants in Pittsburgh, we did. So when it goes bad like that, it leads to other areas where you're getting extra guys in the box, and then you're getting the trick plays, and you're getting the over routes and all the other stuff that lead to it. So that is paramount that we get the run stopped.
Hey Mike, Patrick Walker, DallasCowboys.com. Not to single any one player out because run defense is obviously a collective between the front seven. But in his first year as a full-time starter, just your gauge on where Monty Smith is right now in his process, and also Linval Joseph and his rotation, how he's coming along. Yeah,
they're both doing good. They both need to do better getting off blocks. Those two guys at that position, it's a lot of times it's grind out the double teams. It's keep the center off the linebacker. It's a lot of those areas. So typically they're not going to have a bunch of big numbers, but Linval had a sack the other night, and Mozzie played pretty good against the Giants. So they're getting going where we need them to be. They're not all the way there, but they're going in that direction.
Does the bye week give you more, is it mostly about review, or does it give you more time to look at San Francisco and what they do?
Today, it's about us. Going back through, we've been going, unfortunately, I had to come here, stop a meeting this morning, but, we're going through every play that's been run against us, see what's good, see what's bad. you know, where are we making a mistake here? Why are we continuing to make this mistake? You know, so like, for example, the other day in the ball game, the tight end arcs, a guy flashes from the other side, and the defensive end probably 6 times in that ball game ran up to the quarterback. And he hardly ever run a boot, right? So he's supposed to come down and close to the flasher. That's his job. That's what he's supposed to do. And with the new guys that we had in there, that didn't happen. So that, at the end of the day, that's my fault. That we didn't train them well enough in order to do that. So they're going to get trained hard on it this week
Is
or
this
next week. Yeah, whenever.
Is this I don't know what the word is to describe how you're feeling.
Yes.
Frustrating or what?
Yes.
How would you describe your feelings?
It's just like the inconsistency, like he said before. It's definitely frustrating. You know, I'm used to having really good teams, and you know, we're going to get there because I believe in these guys and the way that they're working. But you know, it's like, you know, I got 20 holes in the dike, and I'm putting my finger in this one, and I got to put my finger in that one. It's, you know, it's not every time. One guy makes a mistake here and it gets ugly. One guy makes a mistake here and it gets ugly, and it compounds over the time. And so we have to get more disciplined. We have to get more, you know, the things I said before about winning a half a man. We got to be more disciplined in pass coverage. We've got to be better tackling, you know, all that stuff. So those are the bullet points, I guess you'd say.
Mike, you mentioned that when things start going downhill, that players like to, you know, maybe try to make plays and do, you know, kind of get out of doing their job. It was kind of a similar refrain after the Saints and Ravens. I guess, is there an in-game way to tell guys like, hey, like, stop it? And
Yeah, you can't. I don't think we say stop it. I think, you know, it's like settle down first of all, right? Because now things are going and everything's haywire. Settle down, read your keys, do your job, and everything's going to be okay. But it's, you know, I've tried to do that with them in a couple of those games, you know. But it's a new experience for them. They're not. Can I say bitching at one another? They're not bitching at one another or complaining or anything like that. It's like, you know, their eyes are like, so we get their eyes back and let's go back to work. You know, what are you going to do? Sit there and pout?
You got 4 games with Mike, a couple without him. How valuable, how important is he?
Well, he's very valuable. I mean, pass rush wise, he wins on blocks. He adds another dimension, you know, and things. So, you know, we had to get more creative against Pittsburgh, and you know, we got to continue to do that until he gets back.